Brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. Now it's sippin' time.
Hello and welcome to this Sips episode where everything good in life is worth discussing. We are the best thing on at 2 a.m. and we want to thank you for choosing to listen to us instead of Model Trains with Kevin. We love those little trees, but we prefer the bar over the trains for sure. I'm one of your hosts here this evening. This is good old boy Mike. Joining me here at the bar is good old boy Kevin.
How's it going?
And good old boy Will.
Hey there.
Today's recording is being hosted at the Music City Tippler in Nashville, Tennessee. My thanks to them, and you can catch Will and Kevin behind the bar here sometimes. So, I've actually been to the Tippler New York City location, which is under the Chelsea Market on 15th. And, it's a small sign on the side of the building. You just have to look for the hordes of people that are walking around lost from the Chelsea Market, staring on their phone and yelling, "Ich bin an Rackensnock." That's actually German, and I butchered it. Or I'm actually, I'm in the right location because you literally are walking around with your phone going, my GPS says I'm right by the bar, but I don't see anything. So it's a small sign that says open that's actually up in the stairwell there. While I love the thrill of actually finding the Tippler in New York City, the Nashville location is expansive, inviting, and it's a very cool back bar piece that I could stare at all day long. I'm actually talking about the furniture, not just the smoking hot bartenders that are behind the bar as well. So they have lots of speakeasy-style drinks, some of which we'll actually feature on this episode today. So our sip segments are all about wine, distilled spirits, tea, and coffee. Here's what's we're actually going to discuss in this particular segment. It's going to be about 3 drinks that we have in this show and tell series. Will and Kevin are actually masters of art, and good old boy actually has some former experience tending bar. Today we'll be covering some what I would consider off the menu recipes. And each of us has a unique drink that we're going to discuss some history of these drinks, and of course we'll be rating them as we go along. Those 3 drinks that we're going to go through are going to be in this order: Ménage à Trois from good old boy Mike. I know everybody's thrilled and excited at that. Please keep it down, to a dull roar. I'm sorry. I know they're already getting excited about that. The second drink we're actually going to go through is going to be Tennessee Smash by Kevin. Is going to go through that one, and also the kids will. They're very excited about that as well. The third drink we're going to get to go through is Spicy Gingerita that Will is actually going to introduce for us as well. So those are the 3 drinks we're going to go through in this segment. Kevin has the honors of going over our sips ratings for today.
Excellent. We'll be tasting and discussing these drinks and rating them with these sips ratings plus our signature sound. And here are the ratings. Number 1. Give me a glass of water to wash out my mouth.
Water.
I don't think we'll have any of those today.
Number 2. Nice. But what else do you have?
Well, isn't that nice?
Number 3. Interesting. What was this again?
Interesting.
Number 4. Let's keep this secret to ourselves. Pour me another.
That's classified.
And number 5. Oh my! I was unaware anything could be this good.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for going through those, Kevin. I'm going to write a note for your method acting class to make sure we've covered that ground for sure. Sometimes when people read our sips ratings, they don't have nearly the measure of dramatic flair. So I want to thank you for definitely presenting them in a way that was informative and not boring. So
excellent.
All right. Up first is going to be the drink that I brought for us to talk about. First off, the name of this drink is called Ménage à Trois. And the history of this drink was, I was having a dinner party and having some folks over that I was a little concerned about with the type of drinks that normally you would serve at a party. Just whiskey on the rocks or a gin and tonic, or I was just afraid that I was going to be making one too many Cosmo martinis, to be honest with you. And I knew some of the people that were coming to the party that that was kind of all the rage at the time were Cosmos because of it was on
Sex and the City.
Sex and the City.
Dark time.
Right, yeah. It was a very dark time, especially for mixed drinks, that's for sure. And, it's a good drink. I did enjoy making it, and we'll probably talk about that on some future segment about just how sick and twisted that experience got for me. But I was really looking for something that was going to be vastly different than maybe some of these other drinks at this particular party. And so I got to thinking, I was like, I'm really thinking I want something that's probably cream-based or has a milk, base to it, or something that was not going to be so hot on the palate. I didn't want something that I would probably throw in as a dessert drink, like a Brandy Alexander or a frozen, drink or something like that. So I got to playing around, and a friend had just brought over the Godiva liqueurs when they first came out. And Godiva actually came out with one liqueur that was just a chocolate, and it was just kind of like a dark chocolate, almost a coffee liqueur when it first came out. They actually came back to the market, and they came out with a white chocolate and then a milk chocolate version of these liqueurs. And a friend, gave me the whole set, and I started playing around, with a bunch of these. And I made this absolutely wonderful espresso chocolate martini that was just like so good. I mean, you'd want like 10 of these things after you made them. And so I got to playing around with this, and I kept on looking at the white chocolate, and I just was like, you got to be able to make something interesting with this. I don't know what it is, but so I started playing around with several recipes, and then the cook got in my head, and I thought, there's some natural things that should blend well with this. I need some type of fruit that would blend well with this, and I actually started with cranberry, and it was too tart. And I actually had a Raspberry Infused Vodka that was there in my wet bar, and so I started playing around with that, and so I came up with this drink. So it's basically three things, and that's the reason why it's called Ménage à Trois, because it is raspberry, it's vodka, and it is chocolate are the three basic ingredients in this. That, and it's a really cool play on words. I like the fact that somebody would be sitting at the bar going, "Oh, Ménage à Trois." Yes, ma'am, you will. Would you like 3 or 4? So it was just a real play on words. And so I had a really good friend that came over as I was kind of making these drinks for this party, and we were just kind of screwing around with, the name of it. And so I'll tell you what his alternative name was after I tell you about the drink.
All right.
It'll make a lot more sense. So the basic recipe for a Ménage à Trois are 2 shots of Raspberry Infused Vodka, 2 shots of Godiva white chocolate liqueur, 1 fresh raspberry, a small piece of dark chocolate, and 1 Smokin Hot Chick that doesn't know how to drink very often. So those are all essential recipe ingredients that you'll have. Listen, don't worry about writing any of this down. It'll all be on our Facebook page, and you'll be able to look it up along with the episode information as well. So just remember 3 basic things. It's raspberry, white chocolate, as well as vodka. Those are pretty easy ingredients. So listen, the prep on this is pretty easy. You take equal parts of the raspberry infused vodka and the Godiva white chocolate. You drop it into a shaker filled with ice, and you basically just shake it up. The other thing you want to do is you want to think about how you're going to serve this. So I like to have a frozen martini glass, or I'll chill a martini glass down, while I'm shaking things up as well. So after you've shaken things up, and the colder the better on this, since the cream really will get warm pretty quick, the colder the better. You don't probably, as ice is forming on the back end of the shaker, is usually my rule of thumb. So you want to drop the raspberry freshly. You want to wash it off too. Drop the raspberry in the bottom of the glass. I'll tell you why that's there in just a second. Pour the contents strained into a martini glass. and then basically just dust the top with dark chocolate shavings. Probably almost to the point that you obliterate actually seeing the base drink. So you'll see a float of chocolate on the top, you'll see all of the white liqueur, and then you'll see the raspberry just kind of sitting in the bottom as well. So the last part is really important, which is after you've poured all this in the glass, you can start taking bets on the net effect after serving 3 of these. It's going to have. So those are basically the ingredients and the prep on this. Listen, there's a couple of variations around this. So a couple of things that I noticed. My first version of this, actually what I did is I rimmed the martini glass with chocolate, and it actually created a wardrobe malfunction. So the chocolate shavings, kind of dropped on women's blouses, and then they got up and they went away, and that has the opposite effect that you want, which is, this is really good, I'll have another, not, oh crap, I have chocolate shavings all over me. So yeah, look, it looks pretty, don't do that. Just put the chocolate in the glass, it'll hit her lips, and she'll never know the difference. So really bad idea. The other thing is using a bigger glass. So the drink actually gets warm, and that's not what you want. Even if you used a larger martini glass with a stem on it, there's something about women and men can only consume so much, in one particular glass. So standard size glass, don't use a bigger glass. The other thing is that if you use a bigger glass, it actually ruins your odds, wondering, how many it's going to take to, be successful that evening. Adding more raspberries, negative, not a good idea at all. Much like your evening, it's about the surprise at the finish line, because they'll drink they'll have the entire drink and they'll go, oh my goodness, there's a raspberry there at the bottom. Well, I'll drink that, And it's basically just been soaked in the liqueur, and they go, that's pretty tasty. You know what? I think I'll have another. There you go. That's exactly your point. That's exactly what you wanted to happen. The last thing you need to do is that, listen, if you are serving more than 6 of these to any one individual, it requires you sending pictures to us directly for the rest of that evening, because I want to see what actually happens.
I think we all would like to see that.
So listen, my tasting notes, around the Ménage à Trois here are, it accomplishes the intended goal here, which is to provide, some alternative drink to maybe a hot liquor of some kind. It's not sweet enough that I would throw it as a dessert, beverage. The thing I like about it is people can pound this down, and you can actually kick up the vodka, probably as they're getting into the 3rd and 4th drink as well, and ease back on some of the sweetness of this as well. It depends on your intended goal for the evening.
Yeah.
Cool bartender over there. Kick up the vodka after the 3rd.
So I think my own sips rating probably for the Ménage à Trois would actually be a 3.
Interesting.
Which is interesting. What was that again? And that's usually the reaction that most people have, when they pick this up as well. So I've made this drink here for both Kevin and Will. Kevin, what do you think about Ménage à Trois? Oh, I forgot you do your rating first.
My rating.
Then I'll finish the rest of the story.
I'm actually going to have to agree with you. I was going to stick with a 3 there. Interesting. But what was that again?
What was that again?
I tend not to like cream-based drinks. Everyone goes through their White Russian phase. I had mine.
Yeah.
But
there's group therapy Thursday. 1 o'clock.
But this has got a nice balance to it. Some sweetness in there. I definitely like the raspberry in the bottom. That's a nice touch to it.
Kind of cleanses the palate.
Yeah.
I just definitely noticed that.
Yeah, because it's got a little tartness in there too, so it doesn't. It's nice and balanced. Yeah, right. And you can't be the name. Everyone loves the Ménage à Trois.
Yeah, most definitely. Will, what'd you think about the Ménage à Trois?
I'm gonna, and I'm not rating this as a 4, as in 4 out of 5, but I think let's keep this secret to ourselves. Pour Me Another definitely fits this, because if I'm in a bar and this is not a featured cocktail, and I go up and I say, "Can you make me white chocolate, raspberry vodka, and throw a raspberry in the bottom with some chocolate shavings on top," that's not the glass I'm going to want to be walking around with alone. But it is a yummy drink, and you can throw it back. It's a lot less with looking at the ingredients, it comes out a lot less sweet than you would think.
It's not invasive.
It's not invasive, and it doesn't sit heavy on you. It's got a really clean finish, and so yeah, you can pour me another and keep on going with them.
Cool. It's a great shot too. I'd just take it as a shot.
I think that would actually be a really good shot.
So, what's going to be your sips rating on this?
I'm going to have to go 4. Let's keep this a secret. Pour me yourself. Yeah.
Well, thanks. So, their last part of the story was so the name itself. So after I went through and started making this drink, and my friend was there at my wet bar, and we were tasting it, and I said, well, I think I'm going to call this Ménage à Trois because it has basically these 3 different ingredients. And he just looked at me and he said, well, I think you should just call it Panty Grease. And I said, well, that is A, accurate, and B, I think that is where all this is headed. I don't think that it's quite what I was thinking of when I had people order this. So I can't see people walking up to the bar and going, I'd like some Panty Grease, please. But they would walk up and say, I want a Ménage à Trois. And so whatever name you want to go with is fine. I'm really okay. Ménage à Trois or Panty Grease. I would say that one transitions into the other as the evening bears on for each of this as well. So thanks. Hopefully you guys will enjoy that drink. It's pretty easy to find these ingredients, and I'm sure it'll make for a great evening when you get to try it out as well. All right, next up is going to be Kevin. He's going to introduce the Tennessee Smash to us.
Excellent. So this is a cocktail that I came up with about a year ago.
We were definitely here at the bar, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's basically a cross between a sour and a julep. I like to use Jack Daniels in it. That's where the Tennessee, and that's where the name comes from. Specifically, Jack Daniels, it's got that kind of charcoal filtration, those notes in there that really kind of pop through in the cocktail. So it's basically Jack Daniels. You can substitute if you don't have Jack Daniels around, but everyone has Jack Daniels in their house, I hope.
Most everybody does.
Most everybody does.
Except people that like other Tennessee whiskeys.
Other Tennessee whiskeys.
Yes, yep, that would be me.
So we have fresh lemon juice, no substitute for fresh juice, maple syrup, fresh mint, and peach bitters. So basically, it's going to be 2 ounces of Jack Daniels. And I like to start with the mint first. And you got to have fresh mint. High quality mint. And all you need is about 6 to 8 mint leaves. And no stems in there. You're definitely not going to want to get any stems in there. And no muddling necessarily. You just give it a little smack, little pop. Get those oils out of there.
So my secret about working with mint is just that.
Yeah.
I literally take the mint and I smack it in my hand.
That's all you
that's
need.
Exactly what you're doing is you're just releasing the oils.
Exactly.
So it works with mint and small children.
And small children, exactly. Excellent. So we're going to take some fresh mint.
I'm sorry. For those of you that didn't quite understand those instructions, do not take the mint, put it on your child's head, and then smack them. Just take the mint away, then smack them, okay?
Use what you have.
Yeah. There you go. That's funny. We'll take some fresh lemon juice. Again, no substitute for fresh juice, ever. If you don't have fresh lemons, don't make this cocktail.
I like that. That should be a standing rule.
Exactly. So 3/4 ounce of fresh lemon juice, and then we're going to do some maple syrup. I like grade B maple syrup. It's got a little bit heartier, but whatever you have at home works. And then we're going to do 2 ounces of Jack Daniels and 2 dashes of Fee Brothers Peach Bitters.
Cool.
Basically just shake it up, strain it out. I like to double strain it to take all those little bits of mint and everything out of there. It makes a nice, consistent, clear cocktail. And then just garnish with a little fresh mint sprig on top. Slap that baby, express those oils, and drop it on top. And it's going to be delicious. It's a well-rounded cocktail. It's nice and balanced. It's got some sweetness in there. It's a little bit tart from the sour and from the lemon juice. But all in all, it's delicious. The peach bitters kind of come through in the finish. Mm-hmm. Add some more sweetness in there. It's delicious.
So what would be your sips rating on this?
as an all-around cocktail, I'm going to give this a 4.
Wow. How about that? Let's keep this secret to ourselves. Give me another.
Exactly.
And I always say you are your own worst critic.
Yeah.
So, at least for myself. Kevin, Will, what did you think about Tennessee Smash?
I've had this cocktail working with Kevin. I mean, I can't count how many times. But as much as I like it, I'm gonna have to give it a 3.
Wow.
And that's I'm a bit partial when it comes to whiskey cocktails. First of all, I basically drink all whiskey as an old fashioned, and it's good, but it's good for, in my opinion, it is as close as you will ever get to a whiskey mojito, and it's a great cocktail if people aren't whiskey drinkers and you want to bring them into that fold with something pretty easy on the palate, because it does sip. I mean, it's smooth and it goes down easy and it's good, but it just I couldn't picture myself pounding these back. It's a heavy cocktail. It takes you. It's got a lot of flavor and a lot of things going on in it. So for that first one, it's great. But if you have 3, you're gonna sit down and be kind of like, all right, I'm gonna switch to something.
So I think that's a question that I have, Kevin. When you normally serve this, do you serve it in a rocks glass? And
It's definitely in a rocks glass over ice. If you want to do it over crushed ice, I serve it over crushed ice sometimes as well.
I can't see it in a tall glass. So
no. Definitely in a rocks glass. It's a summer drink. It's almost like a Lynchburg lemonade style, julep style.
Please don't sue us. It is not exactly like Lynchburg lemonade. So, well, thanks. I appreciate your discussion about that, Will. So, really great drink. So the first thing I wrote down is this is very citrus forward. Was the thing that struck me, and I love the fact that you have this, die hard fresh juice always. I mean, you cannot substitute. Some ingredients just need to always be from scratch and fresh, and that's kind of one of the things that it really drives me nuts with bartenders is when they pull out a mix for making anything. If there was anything I had to ban from the bar, it would be sweet and sour mix.
Exactly.
Unless you've made it.
Unless you can make your own, yeah.
If you want to make it at the beginning of each shift, then I'm okay with that. And I do know some places that do that. So no problem with that. The one thing that we talked about when I had this was it's just this very interesting trip, with your palate. So I was kind of comparing this to the mojito, where the mojito is a very, what I call takes your palate from point A to point B. It starts and it finishes and that's it. And it's on and off the palate and, you move on to another sip. This takes your palate on what I call a stroll around the block. The first thing that hits you is that citrus, and definitely hits, the aroma that you get off this is it really hits your sense. You'll smell the mint and you'll taste that lemon juice right off the bat. And then all of a sudden, it's like somebody walks up and grabs your palate and says, "Hey, let's go around the block a couple of times. This is door number 1. This is wood. And door number 2 is, hey, this is bourbon. And by the way, let me remind you of the stuff we saw at the beginning of the journey. And the mint comes back in, into the fold, and then you go down a couple more doors, and so." It instead of having this very on and off the palate, it kind of takes your palate kind of around the block is the way I described it. So I really thought it was a great improvement to what is already a classic drink, the mojito. But with everything that's being done with Tennessee whiskey right now, I would love to see this in a wide variety of types of Tennessee whiskey. I have respect for the one that you made it with, but I'd love to see it with other products like Collier and McKeel. I'd love to see it with Cumberland Cask, which is unfiltered. I'd love to see it with even Pritchard's. I think would be an interesting choice. So it would be great to kind of see all of these varieties and see do they kind of round things out or improve or enhance this drink, because that journey, that I talked about could get a lot longer,
Exactly.
Definitely with some of those other whiskeys. So my sips rating for the Tennessee Smash is going to be a 4.
That's
Let's
classified.
keep the secret to ourselves. Pour me another is exactly what I would say if I were at the bar for this. So I tell you what, we're going to take a quick segment break here, and we will be right back with Will's choice here at the Show and Tell Show. We'll be right back. Hey, thanks for coming back and joining us after that quick segment break. We are here talking about model trains with Kevin this evening. We're here on inserting our third tree here next to our tunnel. And so it's really a fascinating discussion that we're having. Now, thanks for coming back to Sip, Suds, and Smokes. This is our mixed drink show, and we're talking about show and tell drinks that we've all brought, and we're down to Will has a really great drink we're going to get to talk about. This drink is called Spicy Gingerita. I look forward to hearing all about this. Take it away, Will.
So the Spicy Gingerita is a cocktail I've been making for, honestly, a little over a year now. I know the name sounds like it's some, Limerita canned cocktail, but it's actually a bit more complex than that. It started off, I'll walk you through at the beginning. It's 2 ounces of a Repasado Tequila, and that could be, I started using Milagro Repasado, but as long as it's something that's not too overbearingly hot on the front, you don't want an extra high alcohol content.
Wait, you know what? I can almost hear the band playing in the background. I hear them coming in. They're playing this Mexican song. the heat is all over this. Keep on going through it.
Well, the heat, the thing is, you're getting the heat from somewhere else. Oh, yeah, little mariachi mic. So you got your 2 ounces of a Reposado tequila, the softer tequila. And as Kevin said earlier, you've got 0.75 ounces, 3/4 of lime juice, and it has to be fresh squeezed. Kevin is one that really got me on that train, and it's true. You cannot substitute that for anything.
How many times do you have to slap him?
All the time.
Pretty often. That's what
all the time.
I don't think he's used his muddling stick for a cocktail in 4 months.
What's
but
it say
he has
on that
used
bottle?
It
It says real lemon. You know what that is? That is not real lemon. Put that bottle down. This yellow thing is a real lemon. Stop using the bottle that says real lemon. Pick up the thing that is a real lemon.
Yeah, at least they shape the bottles like real lemons too. So
that is such a fake.
Well,
close.
And then you're going to use. So you've got your tequila, your lime juice, and it's very much like a margarita. You've got tequila, lime juice, and you can use a 1/4 ounce of agave. Some people that made it when I ran it at a bar called South, they switched and started using simple syrup, which is okay, but agave has a different flavor.
Yep.
It is sweeter, and the thing with this is the final 2 ingredients are you're going to cut up preferably jalapeno peppers, 3 little dimes of that, and top it with ginger beer. And so you're getting a lot of the sweetness from the ginger beer, and that's why you just need a dash of that agave. And with simple syrup, it's really easy to mess that balance up, and the balance is pretty important in this cocktail. So you shake it up, all just literally, you don't have to muddle anything. You just throw those dimes of the jalapeno in there, 3 small ones of them. Try not to do too many seeds. Shake it up, do it over, cold draft, cubed ice. Crushed ice will water it down too much. I serve it in a Collins glass and topped with ginger beer, and it's a really yummy, spicy cocktail. And I was trying to make some sort of spicy margarita, and I started by doing a peach habanero syrup. This is a year ago. They asked me to come up with some sort of margarita thing for a cocktail menu, and I made this peach habanero syrup, and it came out, and habanero is so hard to control. It was just fire. So I actually used it. You hear about bartenders giving someone match shots.
I don't love you anymore. Will you burn my palate?
I did that to 1 or 2 people. But yeah, so the cruel bartender giving a match shot or a cement mixer. Well, I gave 3 unlucky lucky friends of mine peach habanero syrup shots at about 2 a.m. on a Saturday.
Oh my God, you got no Christmas gifts that year.
Oh, it was nope. They don't worry, everything comes back. It was a full circle punishment, so that followed me. But yeah, and I finally settled that the lime juice, Repasado Tequila, a little bit of agave, fresh caught jalapenos, and topped with ginger beer over KD is the way to go. And then I've been using that right on the cocktail menu. Here is that, and that's the finished cocktail, and I'm not touching it.
Huh. So, a couple of questions about your recipe before you give your sips rating. So, the agave that you use in this, I know that agave comes in a wide variety of grades as well as color. Mm-hmm. So, light agave, heavy, dark agave? Or
I use a light agave.
Light agave,
but
okay.
I use a light agave here at the Tippler, and we have a house-made ginger beer that we make, initially made specifically for mules, because we make a lot of Moscow mules. Mm-hmm. But, and so I'm able to use the light agave because it doesn't need to be as heavy, because that's a pretty sweet ginger beer. If you're going to use at home something like Gosling's, you're getting your canned ginger beer, mm-hmm. Or Q has a great ginger soda you could also use as well. Then you're going to want to probably switch to a darker agave because you're going to need a little bit more sweet, a little bit more tact to cut out that jalapeno. So. Mm-hmm.
So what's going to be your sips rating here for the it is spicy Gingerita? I forgot the name.
I've got to give it a 4. Ooh. Let's keep this a secret to ourselves. Pour me another. I don't believe it's a secret drink is the only thing. You can throw this, and I have done before, you can throw it in pitchers, and this can be a shared cocktail amongst a group. But yeah, I got to give it a 4. It's not the best cocktail I've ever had in my life, but it is pretty good. And I enjoy it.
Well, a very interesting drink, definitely. So this happened to be the first one that we made of the 3 that we're going through. My tasting notes for the spicy Gingerita, I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it, was, it has a really sweet ginger bite. It's almost like, somebody attacking part of your palate and kind of grabbing hold of it. So that it... it's not the heat part. It is actually the ginger part that seems to kind of put a snap, on your palate. It's really wonderful balance. So it's the balance of the sweetness of the agave, the heat of the pepper, and the ginger itself, both adding sweetness as well as some variation, in sweetness coming all through. And it just really has, this really kind of wonderful balance to it. Very unique ingredients. I would venture to say that this is the first time I've actually had this blend of ingredients, in one beverage. So that was the thing that kind of caught me, is just that balance and the unique aspect of it all. My, super technical term is, wow, really?
Very professional.
Yeah, I know. It's part of the professional technical, vernacular that I bring to that, which is, really? What was that again? I wouldn't classify this as a before. I would classify it as a before dinner drink. I don't think that I would have this during the meal or after the meal. This is something that I would actually have, as you're maybe waiting for a table or something like that. So, really great drink. I have to say this is a 4. That's my sips rating, 4. Spicy Gingerita by Will. Kevin, what did you think of Spicy Gingerita?
I love this cocktail. This is a great cocktail.
And your check is cashed.
Yeah, exactly. We've made it great and well balanced. It's got some heat to it, so it's definitely probably one that if you don't like spice, you're not gonna like it. But
no,
all in all, it's definitely. I think it's great, and I'd drink them all the time.
Yeah.
You like more heat or less heat?
In that specific drink?
In this specific drink, yeah.
I think
you like it just where it is?
I think I like just enough heat. I'm not someone that... Some people like really spicy Bloody Marys and all that. I'm not into that. I like a little heat just to get the little bite. Just enough. And I think that cocktail definitely does that.
So what's your sips rating here on Spicy Gingerita then?
I'm going to give this one, I'll give it a 4.
4 is
definitely
a
4.
That?
Yeah.
4's all the way around.
Well done.
well hit out of the park there, Will.
Thank you, guys.
Great beverage. So the ginger beer that's in this will actually be on our other segment that we're going to cover with the Moscow Mule. But I had a chance to actually try the ginger beer just kind of all by itself. And I agree with you. I think that's part of the reason why this drink is exceptional is because the unique aspects of the ginger beer that you have here at the Tippler as well. I think it'd be very difficult to kind of replicate this drink exactly the way that you have it here at the bar.
I mean, and I told y'all it originated from another bar, and when I got to make it here with this ginger beer, that was when I really felt that this is the finished cocktail. This is what I want it to be, and yeah, I mean, you can do things to bring it close to that, but without that house-made ginger beer, it's going to be a slightly different cocktail. It is still good, but you're going to have to play around on your own with the build to get that same balance.
Well, there you have it. There's our 3 drinks that you can try out on your own, all originals that we've gone through today. We are so glad that you stayed awake here on the hour. It's 3 a.m. Join us next week as we discuss model trains with Kevin. And we discuss a very important topic, glue and you, the untold story of addiction.
That one was good.
Hey, listen, thanks to all of our listeners at Sip, Suds, and Smokes. You can catch all of our episodes online on iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, PRX, YouTube, at this lower bar, and Spreaker, our native media host. Arch Resto radio stations are questioning why in the heck did we not get one of those drinks sent to us. They're always expanding, and if you would like to hear this particular show on your favorite radio station, make one of those spicy gingeritas, send them a note, and send them a gallon of that, and tell them you'd like to see this show on their radio station. You can reach us online anytime at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com. Our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter every single day at SipSudSmoke is our handle. Our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. You'll get to see all these recipes on our Facebook page as well. Listen, do us a favor and take the time to rate this episode if you're listening to us online. That's a big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well. You can start it off with, "Oh, Kevin, he sounds so cute."
Yeah, it's got that voice.
You know what? Will sounds good, but that drink sounds pretty hot to me. We do love your feedback. I want to thank my co-host for being here. Kevin, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Will, thank you for joining us here on Sip Suds.
Thank you, Mike.
This is good old boy Mike. I'm going to ask you to join us once again and keep on sipping.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sip, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see y'all next time.